I quit doing dope thousands of times. Thousands of times I quit. I wouldn't listen to my conscience, which was telling me you don't want to do this. I would get to feeling good, get sobered up, food in me, good sleep. Now I'm ready to hit it again. Everything's good, but I want it to be better. And you have to be living in congruency with your conscience. There's a voice that we all have in our head that tells us to do things, and we have another voice in our head that tells us to do things. It's very simple. It's black and white. There's a good voice and a bad voice. There's your conscience and it's not your conscience. To follow your conscience, that's what's going to set you free from all the pain from choosing and making decisions with the wrong voice in your head. Right now, I live 99% in congruence with my conscience. And I still have that little bit where I can be better. And I think no matter what level you're at with this, and what stage you're at, there's always going to be room for improvement. To get from point A to point B, going from doing what one voice tells you to switching to the other voice, this is a decision that you don't have to stress about. Obviously, if you're dope sick, it's going to be horrible and you're going to stress a bunch about it. You just have to decide it's a 1-second decision. Boom, I'm not going to listen to that voice. Or boom, I'm not going to do dope no more. Don't have to stress it. You just have to do it. And I think stressing over these decisions makes it so much harder to actually do them, because you start thinking so deep. You get in this rabbit hole of thought, and eventually you can talk yourself out of it. You can fight it and fight it and fight it, and then eventually you just give into it, and now your mind's at peace. That's living against your conscience. To live with your conscience, you just have to make this decision. I'm going to do it. I'm going to listen to the good voice in my head. And you know what that good voice is. It'll say, don't drink today. Don't smoke today. Don't call off work today. That's the voice you listen to. And eventually, after you keep listening to it over and over and over again, it's the only voice you're going to want to listen to, because you can trust that voice. And you can trust the outcome of that voice is good. When I deviate from my path and deviate from listening to my conscience, the probability of things ending bad skyrockets. Let's say it could be something like, oh, I'm gonna drink and drive. Okay? There's a lot of people that'll leave a party and, oh, I feel fine, I'm just gonna drive home, cops not gonna catch me, blah blah blah. But the other voice in your head is saying, I should get an Uber, I should get a ride home. Now, if you drive home, 9 out of 10 times you probably will make it home. You probably aren't that, you haven't drank too much. But the probability of you getting a bad outcome from making that decision is extremely high. Even if it's 1 out of 10 times, it's 10%, 1 to 10% chance you're going to get in trouble for it. That's going to stick. And if you were just to get a ride home and listen to that correct voice in your conscience, there's no possible way and no percentage of a chance where you're going to have a bad outcome from that decision. So listen, guys, live in congruence with your conscience. Make one choice after another, just one step forward, just one at a time, one day at a time. Something that was really hard for me was when I was in an AA meeting and they said, you cannot drink for the rest of your life. I fought that for a very long time. I couldn't mentally understand how for the however many years I have left on this planet, I'm never going to drink again. I just couldn't rationalize it. And after trying to fight it, finally I succumbed to it. I listened to my conscience and I'm like, okay. This applies to anything you're struggling. It's not just a drink. Finally I succumbed to it and listened to the correct voice of my conscience. I said, dude, just don't do it for today. You didn't do it for the last 2 months, 3 months, whatever it was, and you've been fine. I think I've had a problem with feeling good and wanting to feel better. It's almost like I'm being greedy, or I'm taking for granted how I already feel. I always want more. I always want to feel better. And when I listen to the correct voice in my head, it tells me I'm exactly where I need to be, and I feel exactly how I'm supposed to feel. And that's hard to accept sometimes too, because wanting to feel better, even if I already feel good. But listen, anyways, you guys, just listen to your conscience and make the correct decisions. All these difficult decisions and problems in your life can be broken down into very small pieces and yes and no answers that you're the one deciding. You are deciding, do I go down that path or do I go down this path? You choose yes, I'm going down the right path. This path or that path. Choose left, that's the right path. You've got to navigate this. But your conscience is going to be your only way to get to where you want to go. Alright, you guys. I'm tired. I had to go shower and go to bed. Working a bunch. Y'all have a good one, though. Peace and love, y'all.